freestyling, man. Freestyling. Don't mind us, folks. Don't mind us. Sorry, we're just in the flow. We're just in the funk right here, all right? But welcome back to Hold Up
Wait a minute.
with myself, Cash Rex, and
Me, MC.
yes, sir. Don't forget to subscribe and please comment and like. But welcome back to the show. Hope you enjoyed the pilot show. We're back again, and MC.
Yes, sir.
You know what? Like we were saying, there are artists right here in Birmingham, right, and a lot of them who really need to, push their head up against the crowd, above the crowd, and really make their mark, right?
Yeah.
But there's also a lot of artists, they won't get signed. They're not going to get signed by labels, or maybe they shouldn't get signed by labels. Maybe they should go the other route and go the independent route, because I mean that really is a thing these days. With the streaming channels and everything else, you can just have your music on streaming channels and Bandcamp and
Yeah.
wherever else out there, and do it that way. If you, especially if you're a person, you can really organize yourself. You're good at organization, then you can pull it together yourself. But you're an independent artist.
I am indeed.
So I just want to, one of the things we talk about today on today's show is, can you drop some knowledge on what it's like being an independent artist, the pluses, the downside, and how artists out there in Birmingham, artists wherever you're at right now, could give them some pointers in that direction of what it's like being an independent artist and what it takes to do that.
Well, you kind of have to be in it for the long haul at the end of the day. Don't think that you're going to make it overnight. That very seldom, if ever, happens at the end of the day. You kind of have to be on your grind all the time, and in ways that it's beyond a full-time job. Literally, you have to eat, sleep, breathe, and live what you're doing, kind of thing, in
Right.
order for it to
You're on the clock all the whole time.
literally that. Because I can get a phone call at whatever time of the morning if I'm getting a call from somebody abroad, and if they need me to do something, then you kind of have to be prepared to do it. Or
Right.
I've had phone calls of somebody saying, "What are you doing tomorrow?" Nothing. Do you want to go to Africa?
Right.
I'm like, okay.
You just got to be able to just get
Yeah.
to, and you're off to a different continent the
Yeah.
very next day.
Literally that. So as a session singer, as an artist, sometimes you do have to be able to, jump in at the drop of a hat. But
Yeah.
I think the hardest thing from my position as the singer, the songwriter, the producer, the artist, is you have to do everything yourself. I do my own artwork as well. I do
Oh, wow, yeah.
my own promo. I do pretty much 99% of the whole equation to kind of get the track from birth to being out there in the ears of the listeners. So
Yes, yeah, and I know that one of the difficulties you have with your music is choosing the songs to go out, because MC, I'm seriously now, has hundreds of songs. There's plenty of times when she's playing me some of her songs, and she would have only played me less than a quarter of her, and that's just what she'll have on her phone at the time, So this isn't even what she'll have, on the computer or in the vault or any of that.
that's
You
the
you have amassed a huge range of material of songs.
yeah, because there was, for most of my music career, I've been writing daily. Like, I remember there was a session that I did with a young man called Justin. Justin Atherley, big up Justin if he's ever listening.
Big up, Justin.
Yeah. Badman producer, he came to my house with his keyboard one afternoon, and we wrote 14 songs in an afternoon. We wrote
Wow.
literally an album's worth of songs in one
In
afternoon.
one afternoon.
Yeah, because I can write very quickly. So, like, some days I'm writing 3, 4 songs a day. I'm writing most days, so that's why I have a catalogue. And even the ones that I've demoed that I've played to you, there's a bunch that have not even reached the microphone or the studio yet that I haven't even demoed
Right.
yet. So,
That's crazy. I think, do you think that it's because you're an independent artist, why you have why you have that work ethic and you have so much material?
yeah, definitely. But I know there are other independent artists that don't have the same grind. Maybe they're not as inspired. Maybe other aspects of their life don't allow them the time or the energy or the headspace to be in that creative space. But I'm blessed to have been able to create a life for myself that I can do that. But it's not easy.
Yeah, they and I mean this would equate for whether a person is a singer, is they're a rapper, you know.
Yeah, definitely.
These are it's going to be the same dynamics you're going to have to, the same mechanisms you're going to have to use to
Yeah.
to be able to, you know, make your way through. And I mean this is why I wanted to have this conversation, because this show is obviously centered around hip hop life, but it's also contains the R&B field, right? And that's the field predominantly you're in. But your
Yeah.
music is been so affected by hip hop.
Oh yeah.
And because I remember going in the studio with you in the very first few recordings that we went in to do, the very first few, and I couldn't stop this woman rapping on the mic. I'm like, you're supposed to be singing this song, right? And she was rapping on the mic, and you know, you're just been so affected by hip hop.
Yeah, I'm not even a rapper. That's the worst
Yeah,
thing.
yeah,
But
that's right. And you were sampling hip hop beats
yeah,
in your tracks, and you know, we got
that's your fault. But carry on.
yeah, from my record collection, you know. But that's my point, is that you're an artist who's been so affected by hip hop, and but you're an R&B artist. You're a
Yeah.
singer predominantly, you know, and I just think that the two have been, you know, they're two different paths, but again they're the same
Yeah.
path, because it's the mechanism of being an artist. So whether you're a rapper, whether you're a singer, you know, and especially if you go the independent route, it's the same mechanisms you're going to have to use, whether you rap or you sing. Would you agree?
Yeah, definitely. I would say that in terms of honing your craft, that's another reason that I make a point of writing every day where possible, because it's like, even if I write 3 shitty songs today, one of them might be really good. But
Yeah.
I've learned something from writing all 3 songs melodically, how I put
Absolutely.
things together. So there's
That-
always something to be gained, because again, I
Yes.
think some artists get out of practice of writing
Mhm.
or performing or whatever it might be. So it's good to kind of keep doing, keep working those
Keep
muscles.
your skills honed.
Yeah, definitely.
That is a very good point, because I say time and time again, you know, you got to write, and from my point of view, I got to write 10 songs to get one good song, you know, because then I know, oh, that song is a great song.
I was going to say, by the way, this man is also a great songwriter, and he
Thank you
was the
very much.
person that helped me start songwriting. So I'm just
Right.
throw that in there. But
Thank you very much, because especially now, the more time goes on, the more I want to not settle on the first or fifth or sixth thing that I write. I'd rather settle on the 10th thing that I write, because then I know I've been through the grind with this, and I've tried several different styles and different variations, and I've just dug a bit deeper,
yeah,
and now I can believe in that 10th song more. Not that I would dismiss something that's good,
yeah.
that's
I was gonna
written
say,
first. You know,
sometimes the first song is the
it
one,
may
and the
come out that
other
way.
9 are trash. So
Right. You know, but just believe in that putting in the hard work matters as well. you know.
definitely. It takes more than just being good in inverted commas, and good is subjective as we know anyway. So
Absolutely.
it's just like, how can I be better? That's always my thing. I
Yeah.
know that I'm good, but how can I always be better?
Hmm.
There's always somebody that's better than me that inspires me, and I think, I look at what they've done. How can I develop that in a way that suits me? Or I like that element of what that person's done, but we all kind of steal and borrow
Oh, absolutely.
from other, or should I say, inspired by
Yes,
other people. I'll
inspiration
use that word.
inspiration is a real thing. It
Yeah, of
really is. I
course.
mean, it's the love of great music that makes
Yeah.
you want to make music. You know,
Make great music.
and so being inspired by other songs and things you hear. You know, when I hear a great song, I hear a Daniel Caesar or someone, I just think, wow. And then his first line will just
It'll pull you in.
right.
You want to hear the rest of the song just
Yeah.
from the opening
You
line.
know, I heard one of his songs, and his first line was, "I awake from my slumber," and I just thought, who the hell writes like that? Like, I awake from my, like, I think I would have started off and gone, "I awake from my sleep," right? Or someone would have started, "I awake from my sleep." He wrote, "I awake from my slumber," and I just thought
Right.
that is incredible. That is, you know, that's just great thinking. You know, great. If you're gonna write a song, at least write it in a way that's interesting. And because is a young guy, you wouldn't expect a young guy to say the word slumber for sleep.
Yeah.
You know,
The
and
vocabulary, that's something else that's
yeah,
important, I think, if you're a writer as well, having a good vocabulary. So,
absolutely.
but
And
again, that involves study, that involves
it
work.
does. It does. And
Yeah.
and belief in yourself. You
Mm,
know, just to let that come across. You got
for real.
Leon Thomas now with his song Mutt.
Yeah.
You know, and where he's saying, you know, the girl's saying, "Slow down, baby, what's the rush?" And he's saying, I'm a dog, baby, I'm a mutt," you know,
Yeah.
and just the braveness to write that down and make it sound amazing because
Make it work,
yeah,
yeah.
make it work. He's a great singer, you know. It's things like that, and
Even the word mutt, like mutt is
right,
kind of, who uses the word
yeah.
mutt these days?
You see,
Who says mutt now?
that's what I'm talking about. You know, it's exactly things like that make a song interesting, right? And if that came to you straight away, then that's great. But it may come to you on the 10th song, you know.
Yeah.
But you would have had to written the 10th song first and
To
put that
get
time
there.
in to get there, you know. But it's worth it when you get there, you know. And you know, that's a great song. I actually heard it for the first time hearing someone do a cover of it.
Right.
And then when I
Okay.
saw the name of the original, I then looked for Leon Thomas and discovered Leon Thomas.
Okay.
And his album is incredible. Now, what I'm saying, all of this can work the same for whether you're writing a song or you're writing raps. Whether you're a hip hop artist, rap artist, you know, it's the same thing. Is you may have to write that verse 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10 times, right? To just make it just be the best that it can be, the most effective that it can be.
Well, again, that's something that I've done. Like, I've gone into the booth with one song in my head, and then when I'm in there and the track's going round, when they're getting my levels on the mic, and then I'm thinking, I don't like this song, and I've just literally rewritten 99% of the song while I was in the booth getting levels.
Yeah.
But it also embodied elements of the first song that I'd written. So it's like, essentially, I've written two whole songs, but taken my favourite bits from both of them and made one
Yes,
song.
yes,
So,
I've definitely done that. I've definitely done
yeah.
that in the past. Absolutely. Can you tell us about the other mechanisms of being a independent artist? Say you've got this song, you've decided on the song for sure. You decided on the track now. You've got it recorded. Now, what are the mechanisms you now have to go to get that song to the public ear?
Okay, well, again, during the course of the time that I started making music, that whole process is completely different. When I released material on vinyl back in the day,
Yeah.
the whole thing was you would go and get it mastered, then you would go and take it to a pressing plant to get white labels cuts or the test presses, so
Yes, I
you can
remember
listen.
that good era.
Yeah,
Yes.
listening to the test presses. Then when you're happy with them, then they'll print whatever amount of copies you need pressed.
That's
Then
right.
going to the distributors,
Yes.
going to the record shops. That's me with a suitcase full
Mhm.
of. I wasn't driving then, so I'm taking a suitcase full of records going around the West End.
Right.
Do you want a few copies of this? And that's how I sold them.
That's like
Prior
that.
to anything online, so
Right. Exactly, because we
yeah.
didn't have the social medias and all that back then. We didn't have that yet.
In the same way, but
And it's not in the same way. Yeah.
yeah, or having to take as I said, a trolley full of records to the distributors so they can distribute them around Europe and to
Right.
Japan. So,
Right.
but now I can do the entire process
Mhm.
from my office at home.
Right.
So
So you'd also be like giving those tracks. They have to have the number, the catalog number.
yeah,
You're giving the cat number and all of that yourself.
I would do all of that. The distributors do that now. The
Right.
digital.
Oh,
or-
they do that for you.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
DSPs as they're called
Yeah.
now, essentially. So
Yeah.
you upload your track basically to the DSP, you
Mm.
pay your subscription, and they get it out to Spotify and to all the other, platforms that will have it: Apple Music, Tidal, etc. Basically,
Yeah.
and I can do all of that from home now. I don't have to go out with a suitcase. I don't have to make phone calls to anybody to arrange, come and pick up these records for me or whatever, or collect them. So
Yeah. It's
none
like
of that.
way different now.
Very different. It's very detached now.
Yeah, it would be. Yeah.
Because again, before I used to enjoy the process. I would be
Mm.
standing in the record shop watching other people listening to my track
Yes.
and buying it, not knowing who I was. I'm just standing in there
Yes.
as Billy Nobody at the end of the day, and
Uh-huh.
it's a beautiful feeling. Or standing in a club and watching people jam to your music as well.
Yes,
So,
yes.
but yeah, and on the radio, and I've had different people would send me a reel on Facebook of them just driving in their car and one of my songs coming on, and you've just got a video of somebody's car stereo.
Yes, and I've done that for artists, and I remember the first time I heard Lady Leisha on the radio, and then we were in the car, and it came on, and I
Is that-
pulled out my phone, and I was videoing it, and sent it to Winchester, because
Yeah.
Winchester works very closely with Lady Leisha, and Winchester, someone known for all these years, and worked with, and I couldn't wait to send it to him. Yeah.
Or even you were at a family wedding and one of my songs came on, and you're like, "Is this you, Cherokee?"
Oh yes, that's right. Yes, because
Somebody played one of my songs.
I remember I was sat there at the table and we're
Yeah.
eating, and I heard it coming on, and I heard since I heard the voice, I knew it was MC. As soon as I heard the voice, the very first line, yeah, and it's just it's a great feeling. It's
It is.
it's like hearing your song on the radio for the first time or whatever. It is a great feeling. I mean, I did the first time I did television was in the 80s.
Wow.
Where it was rare that you even saw a lot of black people on TV, period.
Wow.
And
Well, you
that's,
kicked doors down with what you were doing and what
Yeah.
you did for the scene, so.
yeah, absolutely. And it was a great time to do it, but then to be able to watch it as well yourself and just enjoy it, It's
So I did that.
Yeah, I did that. Look at me, I mean, it was great. And as well as the rap artists that I was inspired by, even at that early time, the Grandmaster Flashes, the Cool Mo D's, the Fearless Fours, all
The
those,
legends.
the legends that I was inspired by. I was also inspired by the R&B and funk artists of the time.
Yeah.
And so when on TV I was performing, I also had them in mind. How did they perform? I wasn't just trying to think to perform as a rap artist. I also want to put a bit of, I don't know, Rick James in there, a bit of, a bit of, so that they would remember my performance.
Who would you say your biggest inspirations for rap were?
Oh, definitely. If you know the Wild Style
Oh,
album,
yeah.
the Wild Style album, because there was a movie and there was the
Yeah, I
album,
remember
the
the film,
soundtrack.
yeah.
That soundtrack, that album changed my life because
Wow.
my life was already on the run from when on the go with hip hop from when I heard the Sugar Hill Gang,
Yeah.
Rapper's Delight in '79.
Wow.
But it was when Wild Style came out in 81, 82, I believe. When that came out, that solidified me with hip hop. Like, I want to do
It's like,
this.
right, that's it. I'm gonna be a rapper, and that's
Absolutely,
it.
because even though all of the rappers performed on that, and everything they were doing, was all live.
Mm.
But just the energy and the trickiness of the rhymes and the
Mm.
live cutting, all the music was being cut by the DJs. That just truly inspired me. I had it on tape, and I
Yeah.
rocked that tape from back to front to front to back. If it popped, I'd fix it, put it back together again, and play it more. That was my real first inspiration. And of course, I got to hear cats like Kumo D and
Mm.
Fearless Four. Fearless Four had a huge effect on me. Grandmaster Flash and Furious Five,
I
obviously.
had the pleasure of meeting Grandmaster Flash once.
Oh
So
wow,
legend.
he's like a god to us, especially in the early era. And one of the cats from that group, one of the rappers
Mm.
from that group, Cowboy,
Oh
he's
wow.
the guy who created the word hip hop, the phrase hip hop.
Wow.
He used to say it in his right to the hip hop. I think his brother used to say it as
Mm.
well,
I've
to
learned
the
something
hip,
new
the
today.
hop. Yeah, and then it just got more
Mm.
developed from there, and became what they would then call the music form itself, hip hop. So yeah, all those early cats. I think it just all came together with Wild Style,
Mm.
the DJing and the rapping and the breakdancing and the graph and all of that.
The culture
Yeah,
essentially
it just
began to
became
form.
packaged very well and
Mm.
portrayed to us, and it was so inspirational to me. I must have been what, I don't know. I mean,
A young lad.
I was young, but I was absolutely
Mezzed.
determined to make hip hop from that point onwards.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Before that, I just loved hip hop from what I heard from the Sugar Hill Gang. Tried to hear more and more. But when I heard Wild Style, that was it.
Mm.
Yeah,
Wow.
absolutely. So okay, so we've reached a stage where you've chosen your track.
Mhm.
You've chosen your distributors, and it's out now
Mhm.
on the DSPs. Promotion. Talk
Mm.
to me about promotion, because one thing I know about music is you can have the talent, you can make the music, but the
Mhm.
real hard part is promoting that music.
Yeah, you promotion is kind of that's the most important thing really, because as you say, you can have a great product, but if nobody knows that it exists,
Yeah,
then it's pointless.
absolutely.
But you kind of have to go all in and all out with the promotion, just so that people are aware, make DJs aware,
Hmm.
websites, whatever you have to do, reach out to as many people as you can, kind of
So
thing.
at this point now, you gotta be someone who could communicate well with
Yeah,
people,
definitely.
someone who could reach out to people. I mean, you couldn't be if you're an introvert because some artists are introverts. Then
Guilty.
it could be very difficult, because you gotta like come at your shell a bit and
Yeah.
make friends basically and communicate.
Yeah, but you know me, I love chatting to people
Yeah,
anyway.
yeah.
So that part is something that I enjoy doing. But it is great to build relationships with as many
Hmm.
people as you can, but sincere relationships, not
Mm.
just, oh, let me phone 100 DJs and tell them my track's out. At the end
Mm.
of the day, it's just like, why should I play it just because?
Yeah.
How many other artists have sent me an email or whatever to
There's
say,
an ocean of artists out
yeah,
there to
so what's
choose
so
from.
special about you? Why
Yeah,
do I need to play your track? So
yeah.
that's the thing.
But are there mechanisms at that point that you can tap into? I mean, obviously, if you got a big budget, then you can
Mm.
just throw money at things and,
Mm.
and, and do it that way. But what can you tap into? Not be a wealthy person. That's structures that are already there, and that you can tap into to help push your music along.
Something that's actually more valuable than financial investment is your time.
Mm,
Essentially, you have to try and dedicate as much of your available time, obviously without turning into a mad person,
mm,
to what you're doing at the end of
mm,
the day. All of that kind of culminates in how you spend the time, like what are you posting, what are you sharing, how often are you sharing it, who are you sharing it with, who is your target audience. So
absolutely.
they're all things that you kind of have to consider as well, but definitely get it out there, like make as many people see it as possible and hear it as possible.
Okay, that's the. I think that's the. Again, you're gonna have to be able to come out your shallow bit and this also involves doing shows, doing
Yeah,
PAs, doing
definitely.
appearances,
Mm.
and those. How did those come about? You have to book those yourself, or
It's a combination of both. Sometimes it's word of mouth. I'll get an email or phone call from someone, or sometimes I can invite myself on somebody else's event and say, "Hey, I've got a single out now." Blah blah blah. It was number one in the Amazon top R&B charts. It was number one on Global Soul. Blah blah blah. And then people's ears kind of prick up and they listen to it. I think, yeah, actually that's all right. But yeah,
yes, you. I like the way MC does things like because she does use guerrilla style sometimes and will just get herself onto something that is already happening and it may not even have any PAs on there, but she will get on there and be the PA on there. And I think in that kind of way, it really does get across to an audience who otherwise
yeah.
wouldn't have heard it.
Yeah, like for example, I got an email to perform at Notting Hill Carnival, and to me, it's just like, oh, shitting myself. It's Notting Hill Carnival at the end of the day, but I loved it. It was a great experience. Again, I've opened myself to a whole new audience.
Yeah,
So,
absolutely.
but yeah,
Yes, sir. Well, guys, it's been great. I've been literally, I just wanted to get all this information out of MC because she is a living, working, independent artist right now. So I hope that really helped a lot of you out there. I hope you enjoyed today's show. This has been Hold Up
wait a minute.
with myself, Cash Rex, and
Me, MC.
please subscribe and like and let us know what you think. All right, we'll see you next time. Peace.